Is this the best German hatchback you can buy in the used market for £25,000? Let's find out. This is a 2019 Audi S3, and if you're looking for a performance German hatchback, you have a lot of options. Your Golf Rs, Mercedes A35s, BMW M135i X-Drives, and of course, these. All of those options have 2-litre 4-cylinder engines, all-wheel drive, and are pretty fast. Also, I wouldn't buy any of those from Birmingham. Unfortunately, I only have one of those cars with me today, the Audi S3. The Audi S3 was made from 2013 all the way through to 2020, so a long production run. There was a facelift midway through at the end of 2016, start of 2017, where they changed a few things, which I'll sort of dive into a bit more later. Under the bonnet, this car is powered by an EA888 engine, a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, the same you'd find in the Golf R. It produces 300 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. In 2017, when they first did the facelift, there were a few changes aesthetically. As well as that, they made a few changes under the bonnet. They had an uprated fuel injection as well as uprated cooling, which allowed the car to produce more horsepower, producing 310 horsepower, but keeping the torque around 400 Newton meters. This means the cars from 2017 to 2018 had 310 brake horsepower. Unfortunately, from 2019 to 2020, they had to drop the power back down to 300 from 310 to the original figures because of adding a GPF and bigger catalytic converters, all due to EU restrictions and emissions and all that nonsense. From the outside of this car, I think it looks great. It's very sleek, nice clean lines, especially in this arrow blue color, which is a very desirable color if you're looking at one of these. It doesn't really scream aggression or performance. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. The most sort of aggressive thing about this car is these quad exhaust tips and the red S3 logo. This particular S3 is a sportback, meaning it has 5 doors. They also do a hatchback with 3 doors, a convertible, which I will say is disgusting, with 2 doors and a roof that comes off of 4 seats, and they do a 4-door saloon. There were a lot of wheel options when this car was new. Any 18-inch wheel was the same price when spec'd at the factory. 19 inches means it has mag ride. So if you see any factory 19-inch wheels on an Audi S3, it also means it has mag ride, which is the adjustable suspension, and I'll talk about that more when I'm driving the car. The interior is where this car shines the most above its German counterparts, in my opinion. It's lovely in here. Nice materials, nice looking, nice feeling, and these super sport seats, which are a £700 option at factory, look great. Supportive, the quilted leather looks class. I really like them. Manual gearboxes were available for this car, but not very commonly spec'd. When they facelifted the car in 2017, they got rid of the manual gearbox altogether and stuck with a 7-speed DSG. Before that, they were available in a 6-speed DSG or a 6-speed manual. What I also love about this interior, not just the aesthetics, but there's buttons. You see this? Climate controls with nice tactile buttons. They look good, they feel good, and I think they'll hold up to the test of time. I reviewed an Audi S5 from 2010, click up here, and it had very similar controls and it held up very well. There are a few options on these cars which really made the value strong in the used market. One being the pan roof, the second being the virtual cockpit, which is the Digi Dash. And I can see why they command more on the used market, because the pan roof really lights up this interior, gives it a premium feel, and so does that dash. I absolutely love it. Goodbye. Every single S3 has heated leather seats as standard, and the facelift got a bigger MMI screen. We'll talk about the screen more when I'm driving. But it just generally is very well spec'd, very nice place to be, and I love these flat bottom steering wheels in Audis. Boot space in the S3 is slightly smaller than the A3. It's 40 litres smaller, and that is purely because of the all-wheel drive system. There's a Haldex diff underneath, which eats into your boot space, but still plenty big. As a 5-door, it's important to have rear space, and you can perfectly fit. I'm 6'5", and I can fit in here no problems. 6 foot, and it's got B&O speakers, which is also an important spec. Right, enough yapping, let's go for a drive. In we go. Not keyless, by the way. Let's find out if it's got an Audi soft limiter going on. Yes. Yes, it does. Okay, driving the Audi S3. Off the bat, I love these steering wheels. Audi do some of the best steering wheels. The perforated leather where you're touching it, the flat bottom, it's nice to look at, it's nice to touch. Big fan of the steering wheels. As well as the virtual cockpit or the Digi Dash. It just looks great. There's loads of options. You can get the map up, you can get your music up, you can mess around, customize it how you want. Big fan of that. Seats, like I already said, I love the look of them, and so far, I've only been in the car about a minute, but so far it feels great. Braking, accelerating, kind of as you'd expect. As we go around this roundabout now. easy to drive, it's an automatic. Steering feels good in terms of responsive, it's sort of around town speeds. And yeah, no complaints so far. As it's an Audi product, it has Drive Select, which is the Drive Select mode. Similar to BMWs, you can also do an individual mode. Other than that, we have a few options. We have efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, and like I say, the individual mode. It's in auto right now, does what it says on the tin, automatically adjusts. The dynamic is the sport mode, and then the other ones are self-explanatory. But yeah, it feels good. It definitely feels more premium than I imagine the competitors feel. I mean, particularly the Golf R. I know this is just technically an expensive Golf R, as some people say. But the materials in here, it's a horrible day. It's relatively cold. It's been raining all day. So I think it says a lot when it still feels like a nice place to be when it's not very nice outside, if that makes sense. And this pan roof really gives you some nice light in the interior, which I think makes a big difference to how spacious an interior feels. I do think if you're looking at getting an S3, I know they fetch a premium, the pan roofs, but I don't know why you'd get one without it, to be honest. I think it's great. And it's not even open right now, but it is good. Similarly, I also think the digital dash is probably worth the money that you pay extra over cars that haven't been spec'd with it. It just, I don't know, it just adds, it makes you feel a bit more special in the car. You've got the S3 logo in you the whole time, in front of you the whole time. I don't know, it just makes it feel like a more special place to be rather than just an A3 with a bigger engine, which this doesn't feel like, especially with these super sport seats, the dashboard, the flat bottom steering wheel. It does, it does make it feel a bit more premium than I imagine the non-digital dash would. So I think, and if you're spending over £20,000 on a hatchback, I think that's quite important to have that premium feel. And this car definitely does have it. Right, just going to change the drive mode to dynamics. We just hit a national speed, adjusting these. By the way, very nice. I love physical buttons. We don't have enough physical buttons in cars. These are nice. Nice tactile, feel great. Right, we're in dynamic. Stiffens up the steering. Suspension, as I mentioned, it is a mag ride car, so it stiffens up as well. Can't really feel it yet, but we'll see. Right, so if I put my foot down once we go around this corner, it's a all-wheel drive, so it should pick up quite quick. Foot going down, now. Yeah, drops down. Yeah, picks up speed quick, drops down, feels good. The gear change was a little bit slow there, but I think it wasn't really anticipating what I was about to do. I know these gearboxes are quick, the DSGs, so maybe that was just a little hesitation on the car's part. See how this all-wheel drive hooks up, it's kind of greasy, so we'll see. I'll wait till I'm straight till I put my foot down. Let's go. And 60. Quick, yeah, quick, grips up nice. No struggle with traction, and as I say, the weather is rubbish right now. That was a wet bit of road. No trouble with traction, felt good, quick, responsive, nice. I'm gonna whack into manual. You can do that by either flicking the gear stick over to the left or just pressing the paddles, the owner tells me. I'm gonna flick it to the left because it feels more intuitive to me. And then on the dashboard it changes to M, tells you what gear you're in, and then you can use the paddles. So we'll just use the paddles just generally, just to see how it switches, how quick. Yeah, fast. This is DSG, you know what to expect, but it's always good to give it a go. Right, we're in fourth, third, yeah. Foot down. Yeah, it changes up ridiculously fast. As we know, DSG gearbox is quick. I like the little tactile click you get from the back of the button as well. Nice little satisfying click. Yeah, very nice. And if I was hooning it around, I'd definitely be whacking it in manual, just obviously a lot more engaged. I couldn't imagine driving this with an actual manual gearbox. I don't think it suits the character of the car, to be honest with you. I drove the S1, which does have a manual only, and I think it suits it. It's a smaller car, it's more sort of that, I don't know, that sort of vibe where it suits a manual gearbox. This car, to me, it suits the DSG, and that's probably why they dropped it in 2017. People weren't speccing them with manuals, and it's also why the values on the manuals are a lot less than the values on the DSG options. Being this is a 2019 car, as I mentioned, it has the EU restrictions. It also means it's a quieter exhaust than the previous years, and you can hear it in here. I do think this car would benefit from a sportier back box or maybe a res delay or something like that. Nothing too obnoxious, just something to free up the tone a little bit because it does feel relatively muted. I know these cars, some people like to make them too loud and pop and bang every 5 seconds, but I think with a little bit of a freer flowing exhaust, I think it'll just sound sportier and better than it currently does. But that's just a victim of EU regulations, not necessarily the car itself. I like to try all the different modes just to see how much it changes it. We'll go to comfort. Oh, yeah, we're in comfort now. Okay, straight away, steering wheel, a lot more loose, light, horrible. Feels like driving new cars that have no direction, no driver engagement. But if you're into that and you want a bit of comfort, then, you know, it could do that. And the mag ride softens up suspension, just eats up those bumps a little bit more. I don't know if I noticed it immediately. It's probably a little bit of placebo as well as the actual thing softening up, but it definitely feels more comfortable. The throttle input's a lot smoother, same with the brakes and the steering wheel. Everything just feels a lot more relaxed, as you'd expect. Let's see how it picks up in comfort mode, because, you know, you might be driving around in comfort mode and think, oh, I need to put my foot down, so let's demonstrate. Yeah, it does take a second to kick down, but as soon as it kicks down, it's quick. It is very quiet, like I said. I'm not a big fan of that. However, if you were to, you know, you want it to be a bit inconspicuous and not be an Asbo and annoy everyone, it is good in that sense. Like, I just drove past two people. If I was in my car, they'd have given me some of those signs. In this, they didn't even look. That's a good thing. General running costs of this car. Running this car is relatively cheap as far as performance cars go. Performance car, hot hatch, whatever you want to call it, generally cheap. It's not crazy cheap because it's an Audi product, so it's not as cheap as running a VW, but the brakes aren't as bad as the RS3. They're nothing crazy. Generally, the maintenance is relatively simple, just oil changes and things like that. There is a few things you have to do, particularly on this car. The Haldex service you have to do every 3 years. That's essential. That's the all-wheel drive system. If you don't do that, it can be problematic. That's the only thing that's sort of quite specific to this car. In terms of issues, I spoke to an Audi tech. Water pump housing / thermostat housing can leak. That's generally it. They're actually very reliable cars, and because this engine is used in a lot of Volkswagen and Audi group products, there's a lot of parts available for them. They're generally reliable. They're generally inexpensive as far as performance cars go to maintain, and they also hold their value quite well, the S3s, and that's testament to reliability. If cars are not reliable and very expensive to maintain, they don't hold their values very well, but the S3s do, especially well-spec'd ones like this car. Fuel efficiency wise, it is a 2-litre turbo engine, so generally good, but you can, if you drive spiritedly, get it down into the high teens, but on the motorway you'll be getting 35 plus. It depends how heavy your right foot is really, but generally around town, just as a car, I'd say it's quite fuel efficient, especially in the realm of your performance hatchbacks really. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder. It's kind of what you'd expect. Nothing crazy, but also it's not going to eat up your money and attack your wallet every 5 seconds like my V8 does. If you are, you know, someone that really wants good MPGs out of a performance car, use efficiency mode. But I'm not, so back in dynamic it goes. Oh, auto stop. The worst feature in any car ever. The all-wheel drive system is good. Everyone knows it's good. It's an Audi Quattro. It's a Haldex system. It's good. It is front biased, so it can understeer. I haven't experienced it today, but I haven't really been pushing it. I think if you go around a track or maybe some tight roads in the wet, it might wash out a little bit. I did feel a little bit back there where the back end starts to push some power, but nothing crazy. Also, the all-wheel drive system allows you to launch these cars crazy fast in any condition, which, I mean, I haven't done that and I don't plan on doing that, but if that's something you're into, that is a benefit. I feel as though this car has a good ethos behind it. It's got good heritage in the S3 name. It's Audi, they know what they're doing. It's got good numbers, but it doesn't have that soul. And I know that's very cliche and very automotive journalist speech, but what I'm saying is it's not a sort of car that on a Sunday morning when the sun's out, you're gonna go, oh, I can't wait to take my S3 for a drive. It doesn't have that sort of feeling for me personally. Now it ticks many, many, many boxes. It's fast, it's good looking, nice inside, premium feeling, comfortable, also has adaptive suspension. It ticks so many boxes. And as a car, for commuting, for being an all-rounder, it is good, but it is expensive. And for me, I want a bit more soul out of my cars. Now, I do think that is victim of new cars, regulations, things like that. It just is a bit boring for me personally. I like a car to invoke some feelings, some emotion. Would I buy an S3 over the other German counterparts? Yes, I would. Definitely would. I think it looks better. The interior is nicer. It's a lot more mature. Yeah, I definitely would. But would I buy one of them full stop? No, I wouldn't. I'll tell you what I would buy. Unexpected, the GR Yaris. Anyway, drop me a subscribe, check out my other videos, other reviews. I've got Project Car going on, check that out. Drop a like, thanks for watching. Cheers. Goodbye. At the end of 2016. I'll start again. Still rolling? In 2000... Still going? And went 7-speed manual only. Auto. Bastard.